Yes, everybody. Hope you're doing fantastically well. It is 4 minutes past 8. I'm just on time. I hope you're all doing fantastically well. We're back here. Isn't it great after a win? Isn't it fantastic after a win? Isn't just that euphoric feeling of watching Leeds highlights over and over and over again just fantastic? Has anybody watched Match of the Day too? I have twice, and call me out for it. I'm not bothered. But well, listen, guys, we're going to be talking about Leeds United tonight again as the debrief set sail for another episode tonight from 8 p.m. Make sure you're tuning in. Of course, it's fantastic to see loads of you in the building already. Good morning from Canada, says Rita. She's in the building. Morning, Connor, says GC. Brilliant display from the team yesterday, especially Harrison and Strauch. Liam Dyke, legend in the building, long-term subscriber. Stick a like on the video for the fella. That'd be massively appreciated. I just want to say thank you so much for all of your comments on the review show yesterday. Listen, it's not been a great time for me. So a lot of the comments that were, you'll know what I'm talking about if you go and watch the review show yesterday. It was emotional, but it was great to discuss Leeds. But I had a bit of a discussion point at the start, and all the support, all the messages I've got. Thank you so much for that. But listen, we're here with some transfer news. It feels a little bit better at the minute that, we've not done transfer business because, that's just based on this euphoric feeling that I've mentioned before of Leeds United getting a win against a top four side, and fully deserved, by the way. A fantastic win from the Whites. Matt Scales in the building. Afternoon from Australia as well, mate. Don't let them get you down. Cheers, mate. But yeah, we're back on it. Harry Burns, great comment. Jack has 4 goals in 2 games now in great league form. Yeah. Listen, what I didn't call out as well is Pascal Strauch. I didn't mention him that much, and it was so difficult doing a match review, trying to go through the little pinpoints of the game. But I just want to have a massive shout out to Pascal Strauch, who was unbelievable yesterday. Mikel Antonio, I was watching a lot, and I was speaking to a lot of Hammers yesterday, and they were saying they've not seen Antonio play like that. I won't say pocketed, because he still had little bits of success, fragments of success in the game. But a lot of Hammers fans were saying that Pascal Strauch, who's that lad at the back, did an unbelievable job on him. Robin was just class, absolutely class. And if we can keep that nucleus fit as well, the sky's the limit. And as Brownie would say, we're 3 points off 10th now, and we're 9 points clear, which is true. It is true. That is backed up by stats, which I've got to sort of evidence that as well with. So listen, guys, we're going to get into a lot of the discussion points of this morning. Listen, you're here for the Rumour Mill. We will be going on a little bit more about the match later on tonight on the debrief. If you haven't checked out the debrief before, it's a weekly show where myself and 2 of my mates come on and discuss everything Leeds United. It can range from an hour to an hour and 45 minutes. So make sure you tune in tonight for that one. So guys, on the Rumour Mill today, first thing we've got to discuss is this man, Kalvin Phillips. So there's rumours circulating this morning. It's been reported in the Echo. It's been reported in the Sun. It's been reported in El Nacional as well. Liverpool are lining up a 33.4 million bid for Leeds United's England midfielder Kalvin Phillips, according to a report in Spain. And obviously, as I've just mentioned, several reports in the UK. Spanish media outlet El Nacional is reporting that the Reds have earmarked the 26-year-old as a potential signing to bolster Jurgen Klopp's options. The same article states that Klopp is looking to sign a new central midfielder capable of providing Liverpool with more accurate power in the middle of the park. According to the same story, the Reds are set to test Leeds' resolve to keep their talisman with 33 million for offer for the Euro 2020 start. Do I see this as viable? I mean, I don't expect there not to be bids for Kalvin Phillips, as I don't not expect there to be bids for Raphinha. I think it's naturally going to happen, and teams are going to test Leeds. We've had it before with Villa and Spurs when we were in the Championship with Kalvin, and it will happen again. The fact that they're offering 33.4 million is a little bit of a joke. Which leg, which toe we're talking about here. But I do expect it to happen. The interesting thing with this, though, is that obviously Kalvin's been injured for such a long period of time. He's not really been able to prove it continuously in the Premier League this season. So would Liverpool come in with that sort of offer, with that in, as a basis? Really, it's going to be interesting to see, but we can't be naive and think that clubs aren't going to come in for our best players. It's obviously going to happen, and they're going to test our resolve. It's natural. So do I think that a bid will come in for Kalvin Phillips from Liverpool? I think there's a high percentage chance of it, yeah, but I think there's also a high percentage chance of them putting a bid in for Raphinha. And what we know with Liverpool is they have to sell to buy. So 33.4 million is still a lot of money to Liverpool, especially with expenditure. So Liverpool probably would have to sell to buy. I saw something earlier on that Huddersfield Town have spent more money in the past 5 years or something than Liverpool in terms of net spend. So yeah, that would be fascinating to see, but I just can't see that happening. And if it is 33.4 million, Leeds are just going to blanket refuse that. I know they are. It's ridiculous. Mark Jones in the building and said 33 million, whatever. He's going nowhere this season. Hands off. 80 million for Kalvin. I'm with Phil. I think if we were to ever sell Kalvin Phillips, I think there's a lot of caveats in there. I think it would be Leeds in the Championship. Maybe Kalvin would turn around and say, I want to be fighting for the top 4. But if Leeds are able to sell him that dream and say, look, we are going to be fighting, give us 2 or 3 years, stick with us, and you'll be a legend at this club. You could be a one club man. I think for someone like Kalvin, that would be very, very attractive. And I genuinely believe that. That's not with me with white tinted spectacle glasses on. I think Kalvin, the age he's at now, his position, his family position. Obviously, they're all loved in Leeds. They all live in Leeds. They're all, embraced by the city. Similarly to what Grealish was, I have to admit. But I think when Man City come calling, it's a bit of a different one. And I just don't know if Leeds are able to. And this is what I've always said, guys. If Leeds are able to match the ambition of Raphinha and Phillips, if they're able to match them and say, look, we're not going to be fighting out in a relegation battle or a mid-table battle. We're going to be challenging for the top 6. If they're able to sell that dream and bring in players in the summer that evidence them selling that dream to those two, I wouldn't be surprised if they stuck in at Leeds. And you guys might think, Connor, don't be ridiculous. Raphinha's not going to be sticking around. And I would agree with you. But if Leeds are able to do that, if Leeds are able to show some serious ambition in a summer, which is going to be chaos, everybody, players coming in, players going out. Don't let yesterday's result fool you. Leeds are going to have a massive overhaul for me in the summer in terms of incomes and outgoings. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Mark's in the building again. Didn't Calvin say in a home video he's going nowhere? He did. Yeah. Morning, Connor. Hello, Big Paul. Hope you're all right, mate. How much would Raf leave for? 80 and above, I think. So this is the good position that Leeds United are in. So anyway, everybody, let's get on to the next rumour. So this is one that we saw the other day. Nicola Raskin. Now this guy is a Belgian under 21. The big key for this guy at Standard Liège is he's versatile. He's a pit bull in the midfield. And he was linked with Leeds United of last week. And it was a bit of a weird one. It was very, very niche. And that's why I think a lot of people believed it, because it's very, very weird. Not a lot of people know who this guy is, me included. And I think it was just one of those players where you're thinking, oh, okay, have Leeds gone a little bit outlandish again, like we did with, the likes of Junior Firpo, like we did with Raphinha, etc., Diego Llorente. And this was kind of knocked back at the weekend, unfortunately. But we did hear of Standard Liège in the midfielder Nicola Raskin. There was several reports saying that Leeds United put a £6 million bid in for him, which obviously matched our sort of budget you would expect. So this is the rebuttal we got back. Leeds United have not been in discussions to sign Standard Liège midfielder Nicolas Raskin, according to Kevin Savage. The DH Les Sports, a journalist, reported that on his personal Twitter account on Sunday, that there is nothing in a report by the Mirror which claims Leeds have agreed a fee to sign the 20-year-old Belgian, which it was slightly disappointing, because I think we all got really, really excited at that one, because, obviously we all started opening YouTube, we all started looking at his Wikipedia, everything to do with him, and he looks like a real player. He looks like he would fit into this system, looks very energetic, very high tempo, looks like he's versatile as well. As someone for a cheap value who's played at a good level, who has a lot of expectancy on his shoulders, is going to be able to come into this Leeds side when we need it, really. And that's what we've always said with the DM or a central midfielder. If they're not going to start, then at least they bolster the bench. which is what you want. A lot of people are saying, well, we don't need another DM. We don't need a central midfielder. When you've got Archie Gray on the bench and you've got Noah Kenner on the bench, and Leeds' bench is notoriously light and weak anyway, bringing in another player, even if that player is on the bench, is only going to be advantageous for Leeds United because it's thickening up the squad options. It's not normal to be in the Premier League and to have an average age on the bench of 17, everybody. You need to bolster everything. And if you're going to bring somebody in who's going to sit on the bench and fill in whenever we need him, that's fine. That's squad depth. That's what Leeds need. And if we're not going to get squad depth, Bielsa has always said he wants to work with a group of 20. That's okay. That's okay. I don't think it's realistic if we're going to be challenging for top 10 every single year, whatever. But if we are to do that, those 20 have to be pure quality, even if they are bench options. Great work, Connor. Stephen, top man, thank you. Good morning from Wigan. Love the back four yesterday with Pascal and Robin. Yeah, if everybody's just joining in now, we are going to be doing a debrief tonight. I expect to see record numbers tonight. I think the record we've had on the debrief is 800 live, which has been great. We need John Doe's in the building that says we need more players to make top six. Most of the squad is championship standard. Joe Gilligan's in the building. Great name. Hey up, Connor from Perth, Australia. Love the show. God, I'd love to be there right now. Need two midfielders and a striker for me. Yeah, could definitely see that. I could hope for that, my friend. Definitely. Okay, so the next rumour on the mill. Tony Mowbray. So Tony Mowbray's not coming to Leeds, believe it or not. So John Buckley, this guy's been playing in central midfield for Blackburn all season. Everyone's been talking about Ben Brereton Diaz or Bradley Dark, etc. But this guy is going under the radar. He's played right back. He's played centre forward. He's played centre attacking midfield. He's played centre defensive midfield. And what's that key word? It's versatility, everybody. John Buckley is definitely someone in the Leeds United remit, for the Leeds United scouting network, in my opinion, who would fit and suit Bielsa's needs. He looks like he's willing to learn. He's only a young lad, high endeavour, high energy, as we were just talking about with Nicola Raskin. And listen, we've had a little bit of rebuttal with this as well. Tony Mowbray said Leeds United will have to make a substantial offer to sign John Buckley. The 22-year-old has played in central midfield, defensive midfield, attacking midfield, right wing, right back, and even as a striker for the Rovers this season. The Blackburn number 21 has made 24 starts and 1 substitute appearance in the Championship this season with 6 goals, that was, guys. So listen, this guy is a serious player in the Championship. I remember him playing against Leeds United towards the back end as well. I think he was making just his first appearances for Blackburn Rovers, and there was a lot of hype around him. So it'd be interesting to see if Leeds were able to get this done. Once again, I can't profess to know biblical knowledge on this guy, but what I can tell you is that with that key word that we always speak about, versatility, and his age and his high performance stats in the Championship, and how he's only young and has got so many years ahead of him, once again, it could be a good option for Leeds United. But are Blackburn in dire need to let their central midfielder go when they're on the cusp of Premier League football? It would be absolutely cataclysmic for them to let players such as Ben Brereton Diaz, John Buckley, Pickering, off the likes, to leave. That would be a big mistake for Tony Mowbray. And I think he will say that to his chairman. Look, stick around. We don't get to the Premier League. There's going to be a fire sale in the summer. And I think that will be a difficult one for Leeds to get over the line. Keep getting your comments coming in, guys. I'm trying my best to read them out. Dick Fear, great name. Hi from Dubai, brilliant podcast. Reet have to go. Take care. See you later, Mark. All the best. Jonathan's in the building. Hey, Connor. Jan from Wakatane, New Zealand here. Amazing. Love the show. Keep up the great work. What about the Ross Barkley nonsense? I think it's all poppycock, to be honest, mate. I don't think there's any way he would fit into this Leeds United side at all. Okay, and this is where we make Wayne Rooney really upset. So, Jason Knight, if you don't know who Jason Knight is a central midfielder who has actually played against Leeds United before. I think it was when Rooney came in, and obviously Bielsa got that win over him as we went up from the Championship to the Premier League, and Derby gave us that lovely guard of honour. Jason Knight is a very, very good player. He's been playing in the Championship now for a couple of years. He's only 20 years of age, and he looks like he's growing in pedigree. I caught a bit of the Sheffield United game at the weekend where Derby won, and I thought Jason Knight was a standout player. The youngster has already become an important player for the Rams, making 16 starts in the Championship this season and captaining the team. Obviously, guys, that's a massive, massive honour for any sort of player but to be doing that at 20 years of age is some feat. The 8-cap Republic of Ireland international who's chipped in with 2 goals and 2 assists in the league, with his manager Wayne Rooney seeing comparisons with himself in Knight from his early playing days. And key to this, guys, according to the Times, Leeds are eyeing up an imminent move for the midfielder whose contract expires in the summer of 2023. Now, this one would be, with the financial position Derby are in as well, this could be very, very advantageous for Leeds United. And the reason the title of the video is what it is because, you lose someone who is, as Wayne Rooney says, like him, and he's so influential in this Derby side. That could be a big, big problem for Derby County. But we know they need money at the minute. Derby always need money. We've seen that in the past 2 or 3 years with fire sales and embargoes, and I believe they're in another transfer embargo now. So I don't know whether or not that means that players can't. I think they can still sell players, from what I understand. So if Leeds were able to go in and get that job done, getting Jason Knight in, who's playing in multiple positions this year, as I said, once again, as I keep saying, high octane, and that's what gets you into this Leeds United side, and someone who's willing to learn and who's done a job in the Championship, which I think is very, very important, and as captain Derby County. It could be a viable option for Leeds United in terms of expense and in terms of, the growth of a player like Jason Knight. So it'll be fascinating to see whether or not Leeds United would be able to get that done. I wouldn't give Derby 1 pence. I'll tell you what I would do though, Marcus. I would take the best player for a minimal fee. That's what I would do. And let's just send them down. Be great. Jim Dempsey in the building, these Ireland's best player. Yeah, I've heard a lot of very good things from people in and around the Championship as well, not just Derby fans, about him. 305 people hit the like button. Yeah, that'd be great, everybody. As I say, I've got work soon, but I want to do this every morning for you guys, so we can get this interaction up as well. G-Man UK woke up in a fantastic mood. Good stuff. Jack Gibbs in the building. Connor, love your videos, top man. The team weren't only the ones playing on the pitch against West Ham. Every supporter played their part. Show this plays a part in attracting future stars to Leeds. Yeah, 100%, especially for young players. And that's why I speak about John Buckley and Jason Knight and players of the like, because they're going to get their opportunities at Leeds United. A lot of young Championship players will think that if they go to the Premier League, they're not going to have that chance. Well, by God, with Leeds United, it doesn't matter how old you are going to get that chance. And as I've said at the start of the video, even if these players come in and just give Leeds a bit of depth on the bench to then progress and get into the first team in a couple of years' time, or you won't want a couple of years' time, you want maybe 4 to 5 months' time or whatever, that's going to be beneficial for Leeds United. But, players who are playing regularly for their first team, captaining their first team, you would expect them to be on the periphery of that starting 11 pretty instantaneously. But to answer your question, it's definitely going to attract future stars to Leeds United, in my personal opinion. Okay, what have we got next? So, Raphinha news. This was interesting yesterday as well on Sky Sports. Robbie Keane has warned that Leeds United could fall apart if Raphinha is sold. Following his top performance from the Brazilian, the victory at West Ham, speaking after the game on Sky Sports, the Premier League felt that the forwards form will be making him a target for any top 4 team in the world. And I think this is something we're going to expect, and I don't disagree with Robbie Keane. If Leeds were to lose Raphinha now, and I think we always talk about injuries and stuff like that, but if Raphinha was to get injured, if Raphinha was to be sold, if Raphinha was to be sold in January, I think there would be questions. There would be serious questions about the board. There would be an uproar from Leeds United fans. There'd be certainly an uproar on this channel, because you're dicing with death there. You really are. There's 9 points ahead of the relegation battle. We're not a one-man team. But as we saw yesterday with Raphinha was able to gain Leeds United so much in terms of performance. When he's on form, the whole team naturally is on form. Raphinha is the shining light. We all know that. Jack Harrison was wonderful yesterday. I didn't think he was in the game that much, weirdly, but just everything he seemed to touch worked in a sort of minimalist capacity. But when it comes to Raphinha, he dictates the entire game. He's so important for Leeds. And he's been off it the past 2 or 3 games. But if Leeds were to lose him, it would be, as I said at the start, cataclysmic. It would be horrendous. And there is no bones about that. You can't turn around and say, well, he didn't score yesterday. He didn't score against Burnley. We'd be fine without him. Please don't get into that results bias mindset. It is the overall play, how incredible he is at working back, how much his game's developed since he's been under the tutorship of Marcelo Bielsa. How important he is for Leeds in terms of goals. We still don't know what Bamford's injury record's going to be this year. I mean, he's only played 5 games for Leeds, which is nuts. I think sort of Raphinha has taken that mantle as the top scorer, and he's going to continue to do that throughout the season. He's very unlucky yesterday, but you saw with that free kick, guys, he just gets a free kick from 35 yards, pings it in the top corner, so unlucky not to go in. And he was at the heart. He should have got 2 assists yesterday, wasn't offside. And if Leeds were to lose him, there's it would be huge. So yeah, I agree with Robbie Keane. It's not nice to think about. But hopefully that's never going to be an eventuality. Jack Forster in the building, catching you live from Tokyo on a rare day off work. Mate, if I ever come to Tokyo, I've done Southeast Asia, but I've never done that part of Asia. Great performance yesterday, and especially impressed with the youngsters fitting right in. Top 10 finished on, realistically, maybe high. Yeah, I mean, if we can get some momentum, if we can start performing better against the top teams and the mid-block teams, if we start to do that, then yeah, 100%. A mid-table finish is on, which seems ridiculous, but we're only 3 points off. Leicester, obviously, they've got 2 games in hand, but Leeds, we have to have a consistent run. We can build momentum. We get 3 points against Newcastle. That's 3 wins in 3. You start doing that in the Premier League, you're going to jolt up the table. I think the sort of thing to take away, though, is that Leeds can't go into games against mid-block teams and lose. If we are to venture into that top 10, I'm talking against like Aston Villa, Southampton, Crystal Palace, Brighton. Leeds have to go in and look to win these games, not just draw them. If we are looking at that sort of trajectory. What time is the debrief tonight, Connor? You guys are the best. Cheers, Steve. We'll be back tonight at 8 o'clock, my friend. And with COVID, rare chance to catch you live. Mark, I hope you get better soon, pal. Hope you get better soon. What's the rumour on the mill next? And we'll finish on this one because I think it's a little bit more unrealistic. But we spoke about Jed Wallace last week, and he's come out with a very bizarre tweet, which I don't know whether or not it sort of pushes himself out the door at Millwall, but he came out responding to fans' criticism. I've played over 200 games for Millwall and never took that for granted. Wallace tweeted in response to the claims he would refuse to play. He would never refuse to play. I've just had a minor setback on my injury, and I'm not a robot. These things can happen, and I'm doing all I can to get back playing ASAP. Apparently, Millwall fans were getting very tetchy about Wallace being linked to Leeds, which is absolutely fantastic. It is quite great being linked to all these players, all the best players for these teams who we had rivalries with in the Championship, because they can't stand the fact that they're linked to Leeds, which is another great aspect of the rumour mill. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen, but just them being linked sends these opposition rival fans into absolute meltdown, which is fantastic. Mark Wright getting salty. Yeah, that was brilliant. I actually just watched that before I came on air, Paul. Mark Wright's, he actually addressed it, to be fair to him. He said, I got that completely wrong. Raj in the building. Any truth in the Seko Fofana rumours? I don't think so, Raj. I think if Burnley were to get him or Newcastle were to get him, I would be absolutely heartbroken. Scored another stunner at the weekend, and he seems like he would be future-proof for Leeds United's midfield for the next potentially 5-6 years. So yeah, he's a player who Seko Fofana could push Leeds on. And if Kalvin Phillips or Leeds have signed Seko Fofana for 14 million or 17 million, and Raphinha was to see that, they're the signings that will keep Raphinha, will keep Kalvin Phillips. As I keep saying, guys, these two can't just be the standout best players, every single year. There's got to be players getting nearer to them. And if you have to bring in better quality of player to do that, so be it. That's Premier League life. Helvetii, they must be sniffing glue if they think they can get KP that cheaply. Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Really appreciate that, Paul. Listen, guys, I've been going on for 25 minutes. Normally I do the room mill for 10, but I like to expand. I like to talk to you guys. I like to, get your thoughts in. It's not just about me. So listen, we'll be back again with some more Leeds United content which will be heavily focused on the game yesterday and future-proofing. I'm sure Brownie will have a lot to say. KJ will have a lot to say on it. So yeah, make sure you tune in for that one. That will be live tonight at 8 o'clock. If you can't tune in at 8 o'clock, make sure you watch it on the playback. It's always available on YouTube. If you can't watch it on YouTube, it'll be available on the One Leeds Fan Channel page on Facebook. It'll be available on Twitter as well if you want to watch it live there on Periscope. And it will be available audio-based on podcast form if you just want to listen to it, whilst going to work, doing whatever. So make sure you do that. There's 405 of you in the building. That's a record for these morning rumour mills. So please make sure you like the video. It'd be great if you could do that. Get your comments in the section below. I read absolutely every single one of your comments. Don't think that I don't. And guys, I will see you in a bit. Have a great day, okay? And I will see you tonight. Cheers.